Welcome to Televisite, where we bring you fascinating and educational facts and updates about people, places, animals, and everything from around the world. Sit back and enjoy as we shine our spotlight on the 15 most devastating natural disasters happening in the world. 1. The Kobe earthquake, also known as the Great Hanshin earthquake, struck on January 17, 1995, in the Hyogo Prefecture of Japan. Registering a magnitude of 6.9, the seismic event devastated the city of Kobe and surrounding areas. The earthquake's epicenter was near Awaji Island, and it resulted from the movement of the Philippine Sea Plate subducting beneath the Eurasian Plate. The impact was severe, causing widespread destruction of buildings, bridges, and infrastructure. The Hanshin Expressway, a major transportation route, suffered a partial collapse, symbolizing the extent of the damage. The earthquake resulted in the loss of over 6,000 lives and left more than 300,000 people homeless. The destruction extended beyond physical infrastructure, disrupting water and power supplies. 2. On June 1, 2009, Air France Flight 447, an Airbus A330-200 en route from Rio de Janeiro to Paris, tragically crashed into the Atlantic Ocean. The flight encountered severe thunderstorms as it passed through an area of turbulence, leading to failures related to its airspeed measurement systems. The pitot tubes, responsible for providing airspeed data, became clogged with ice crystals, resulting in inconsistent readings. The crew faced challenges interpreting the conflicting airspeed information, and in the absence of clear guidance, they struggled to maintain control of the aircraft. The autopilot disengaged, and the airplane entered a stall condition. Amidst the confusion, the flight crew made inputs that exacerbated the situation. Tragically, Flight 447 crashed into the Atlantic Ocean, claiming the lives of all 228 people on board. The wreckage wasn't located until nearly 2 years later, revealing the extent of the impact and the challenges in recovering information from deep-sea depths. The incident prompted investigations into aircraft systems, pilot training, and communication protocols. It also highlighted the importance of addressing systemic issues in aviation safety, leading to improvements in cockpit technology, crew training, and global collaboration on sharing critical safety information within the aviation industry. 3. The Bhopal gas tragedy, occurring on December 2nd to 3rd, 1984, in Bhopal, India, remains one of the world's most devastating industrial disasters. A pesticide plant owned by Union Carbide India Limited experienced a catastrophic gas leak, releasing a toxic cloud of methyl isocyanate (MIC) gas. The incident resulted in the immediate death of thousands and exposed over 500,000 people to the toxic gas. The gas leak caused respiratory issues, eye irritation, and other severe health problems. The precise number of casualties remains disputed, with estimates ranging from several thousand to tens of thousands. The tragedy exposed inadequacies in industrial safety measures, emergency response, and corporate responsibility. Legal battles ensued, and Union Carbide settled with the Indian government for compensation, though criticism persisted regarding the adequacy of the settlement. The Bhopal gas tragedy stands as a stark reminder of the importance of stringent industrial safety regulations and corporate accountability in preventing such disasters. 4. The 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami, a tragedy unfolding on December 26, 2004, a colossal earthquake measuring 9.1 to 9.3 on the Richter scale, struck off the coast of Sumatra, Indonesia. This undersea tremor, one of the largest ever recorded, triggered a series of devastating tsunamis that swept across the Indian Ocean, unleashing unimaginable destruction and leaving a lasting scar on the region. The earthquake occurred at 7:58:53 local time, UTC +7. The epicenter was located off the west coast of northern Sumatra, Indonesia. The estimated magnitude was between 9.1 and 9.3, releasing energy equivalent to 23,000 Hiroshima bombs. The quake triggered significant landmass uplift, displacing vast amounts of water and creating the tsunamis. Tsunami waves reached up to 30 meters, 100 feet, high in some areas, particularly near the epicenter. They traveled across the Indian Ocean at speeds exceeding 500 miles per hour, impacting coastlines over 1,600 kilometers long. Devastated communities in Indonesia, Sri Lanka, India, Thailand, Maldives, Myanmar, Malaysia, Somalia, Tanzania, Yemen, and even reached as far as Mexico and Chile. An estimated 227,898 people perished across 14 countries, making it one of the deadliest natural disasters in recorded history. Millions were displaced, losing homes, livelihoods, and loved ones. Widespread infrastructure damage, including roads, bridges, communication networks, and essential services occurred, leading to an unprecedented humanitarian crisis requiring massive international response and reconstruction efforts. The disaster spurred renewed focus on tsunami warning systems and early preparedness measures, increased awareness of the vulnerability of coastal communities to natural disasters, prompted significant improvements in disaster risk reduction and resilience building initiatives. The memory of the tragedy continues to serve as a reminder of the interconnectedness of the world and the importance of international cooperation in the face of adversity. These developments led to collaborative efforts in establishing more robust early warning systems, enhancing preparedness strategies, and fostering international partnerships to mitigate the impact of future disasters. The tragic events of 2004 underscored the need for a unified global response to such crises, emphasizing the shared responsibility of nations to protect vulnerable populations and build resilience in the face of natural calamities. 5. The 2010 Haiti earthquake, a catastrophe and its aftermath. On January 12, 2010, a devastating magnitude 7.0 earthquake struck Haiti, forever altering the lives of millions. The epicenter lay near the town of Léogâne, just 25 kilometers west of the capital, Port-au-Prince. In a horrific 35 seconds, the tremor unleashed unimaginable destruction, leaving behind a scene of utter devastation. Immense human loss. Estimates vary, but the Haitian government reported over 300,000 fatalities, while other sources cite lower figures. Regardless of the exact number, the earthquake undoubtedly claimed hundreds of thousands of lives, making it one of the deadliest natural disasters in recorded history. Widespread destruction. Port-au-Prince, a densely populated city with pre-existing vulnerabilities due to poverty and inadequate infrastructure, bore the brunt of the damage. Entire neighborhoods were reduced to rubble, with major government buildings, hospitals, and schools collapsing. Infrastructure crumbled, leaving millions without access to basic necessities like water, food, and shelter. Displacement and humanitarian crisis. An estimated 1.5 million people were displaced, forced to live in makeshift camps with limited resources. The immediate aftermath saw a desperate struggle for survival, with widespread disease outbreaks and a critical need for international aid. Challenges and response. Logistical obstacles. Delivering aid to the affected areas proved immensely challenging due to damaged infrastructure, communication breakdowns, and political instability. Rebuilding Haiti after such a catastrophic event required a sustained and multifaceted effort. Addressing housing, healthcare, education, and economic development became crucial priorities. International response. The earthquake elicited a massive global response, with governments, NGOs, and individuals rushing to provide humanitarian assistance and support for long-term reconstruction. Legacy and present day. Despite significant international support, Haiti's recovery has been slow and complex. Political instability, corruption, and recurring natural disasters have hampered progress. Yet, the Haitian people have demonstrated remarkable resilience in rebuilding their lives and communities. Today, Haiti still grapples the earthquake's long-term consequences. While significant progress has been made, poverty, infrastructure deficiencies, and vulnerability to natural disasters remain pressing challenges. The 2010 earthquake serves as a stark reminder of the immense challenges faced by developing nations in the face of natural disasters, highlighting the need for robust preparedness, effective disaster response, and sustained international support. 6. The 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami, a day of devastation and resilience. On March 11, 2011, at 2:46 p.m. Japan Standard Time (JST), a powerful earthquake measuring 9.0 to 9.1 on the moment magnitude scale struck the Pacific Ocean off the coast of northeastern Japan. This megathrust earthquake, the strongest ever recorded in Japan and the fourth strongest globally since 1900, unleashed a series of devastating tsunami waves that caused widespread destruction and loss of life. The earthquake, epicenter located approximately 130 kilometers, 81 miles east of Sendai, the largest city in the Tohoku region. Depth of about 24 kilometers, 15 miles, beneath the seabed. Triggered by the subduction of the Pacific Plate beneath the Okhotsk Plate. Lasting for approximately 6 minutes, causing violent shaking and widespread damage across the region. The tsunami wave measuring up to 40.5 meters, 133 feet, tall, struck the coastline within minutes of the earthquake. Inundated a total area of approximately 561 square kilometers, 217 square miles. Devastated coastal communities, destroying homes, businesses, and infrastructure. Triggered a nuclear accident at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, leading to radioactive releases and evacuations. Impact. Over 19,759 confirmed deaths and 2,527 missing and presumed dead. More than 450,000 people displaced from their homes. Estimated economic damage exceeding $300 billion. Long-term social, economic, and environmental consequences. Aftermath and recovery. Massive rescue and relief efforts were launched by the Japanese government and the international community. Communities rebuilt, damaged infrastructure and housing. Efforts were made to address the ongoing challenges of the Fukushima nuclear disaster. Resilience and determination of the Japanese people in overcoming this tragedy. Legacy. The 20th impact. Over 19,759 confirmed deaths and 2,527 missing and presumed dead. More than 450,000 people displaced from their homes. Estimated economic damage exceeding $300 billion. Long-term social, economic, and environmental consequences. Aftermath and recovery. Massive rescue and relief efforts were launched by the Japanese government and the international community. Communities rebuilt, damaged infrastructure and housing. Efforts were made to address the ongoing challenges of the Fukushima nuclear disaster. Resilience and determination of the Japanese people in overcoming this tragedy. Legacy. The 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami served as a stark reminder of the power of natural disasters and the importance of preparedness, led to advancements in earthquake and tsunami warning systems and disaster mitigation strategies. Reinforced the need for international cooperation in responding to large-scale emergencies. 7. Typhoon Tip, a monstrous storm of records. Typhoon Tip, also known as Typhoon Warling in the Philippines, remains etched in history as the most intense and largest tropical cyclone ever recorded. This behemoth of a storm wreaked havoc in the Pacific in October 1979, leaving behind a trail of destruction and claiming nearly 100 lives. Born from a disturbance within the monsoon trough near Pohnpei, Tip initially battled with another storm, Tropical Storm Roger, for dominance. However, once Roger moved away, Tip exploded in intensity. Fueled by warm ocean temperatures, the storm rapidly intensified, reaching its peak on October 12th with sustained winds of 305 km per hour, 190 miles per hour, and a mind-blowing minimum central pressure of 870 OSPA, 25.69 inhergrams. This pressure reading remains the lowest ever recorded in a tropical cyclone worldwide. Tip's sheer size was as impressive as its power. At its peak, the storm spanned an astonishing 2,220 kilometers, 1,380 miles in diameter, nearly double the previous record held by Typhoon Marge in 1951. This vast expanse made it almost as wide as half the continental United States. Despite its immense size, Tip thankfully missed directly impacting populated areas like Guam. However, it still brought significant impacts. Heavy rains and strong winds affected Guam, causing power outages and minor damage. However, the real tragedy unfolded in Japan. Though weakened before making landfall on Honshu, the largest Japanese island, Tip still carried a significant punch. Torrential rains triggered widespread flooding and mudslides, resulting in 99 fatalities. Most tragically, 13 U.S. Marines perished in a fire caused by the flooding at Camp Fuji. Over 600 mudslides. These caused extensive damage and loss of life. 22,000 homes flooded. Thousands were displaced by the deluge. Broken rivers and destroyed infrastructure. Bridges, dikes, and roads were significantly damaged. Aftermath and legacy. The devastation caused by Tip highlighted the importance of preparedness and disaster risk reduction. Japan implemented significant improvements in flood warning systems and infrastructure resilience following the storm. Tip's legacy lives on in its record-breaking intensity and size. It serves as a stark reminder of the destructive power of tropical cyclones and the need for continued research and preparedness efforts to mitigate future impacts. 8. The Deepwater Horizon oil spill, also known as the BP oil spill, occurred in April 2010 in the Gulf of Mexico. It was one of the largest environmental disasters in history. The offshore drilling rig, Deepwater Horizon, operated by BP, suffered a blowout, leading to a catastrophic explosion and fire. The incident caused the rig to sink, resulting in the uncontrolled release of oil into the Gulf. The spill lasted for 87 days, and an estimated 4.9 million barrels of crude oil were discharged into the ocean. The environmental impact was severe, causing extensive damage to marine ecosystems, coastal areas, and wildlife. The spill affected fisheries, tourism, and the livelihoods of communities along the Gulf Coast. Efforts to contain and clean up the oil involved various methods, including the use of dispersants and controlled burns. The incident prompted widespread criticism of BP and raised concerns about the safety and environmental risks associated with deepwater drilling. It also led to legal actions, fines, and increased scrutiny of offshore drilling practices and regulations. The Deepwater Horizon oil spill highlighted the need for stringent safety measures and comprehensive environmental safeguards in the oil and gas industry. 9. The tornado outbreak in the U.S. In April 2011, the United States experienced a widespread and deadly tornado outbreak. Over a span of 3 days, from April 25th to April 28th, a series of powerful tornadoes struck multiple states across the southeastern and central regions. The outbreak resulted in significant devastation, causing loss of life, property damage, and economic impact. The storms, including several large and intense tornadoes, affected states such as Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Georgia. The city of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, faced particularly severe damage as an EF4 tornado cut a path through the area. Numerous communities and neighborhoods were ravaged, with homes, businesses, and infrastructure destroyed. The tornado outbreak of 2011 is notable for its high tornado count and the sheer force of the storms involved. The event prompted discussions on tornado preparedness, early warning systems, and the resilience of communities in the face of natural disasters. The aftermath saw extensive recovery and rebuilding efforts in the affected regions, emphasizing the importance of proactive measures to mitigate the impact of tornadoes. 10. The Chernobyl nuclear disaster occurred on April 26, 1986, at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Pripyat, Ukrainian SSR, then part of the Soviet Union. It stands as one of the most catastrophic nuclear accidents in history. The disaster unfolded during a safety test at Reactor 4, resulting in a sudden and uncontrollable surge in reactor power. The explosion released a significant amount of radioactive materials into the atmosphere, leading to widespread contamination. The immediate impact claimed the lives of 2 plant workers, and the subsequent release of radioactive particles exposed many others to high levels of radiation. The affected area extended beyond Ukraine, reaching Belarus, Russia, and other European countries. In the aftermath, a large exclusion zone was established around the reactor, forcing the evacuation of thousands of people from nearby towns and cities. The long-term consequences included an increased incidence of thyroid cancer, environmental contamination, and lasting effects on local ecosystems. Chernobyl had profound implications for nuclear safety practices and policy worldwide. It highlighted the importance of stringent safety measures, improved reactor designs, and transparent communication during nuclear incidents. The disaster remains a poignant reminder of the potential consequences of nuclear technology and the need for continuous vigilance in managing its risks. 11. The Mount St. Helens eruption of 1980 was a catastrophic volcanic event that occurred in the state of Washington, USA. On May 18, 1980, the volcano, which had been dormant for over a century, experienced a massive eruption. The eruption began with a 5.1 magnitude earthquake, triggering the collapse of the volcano's north face. This unleashed a lateral blast of hot gas, ash, and debris at speeds exceeding 670 miles per hour, 1,180 kilometers per hour. The blast devastated an area of about 230 square miles, 600 square kilometers, destroying forests, lakes, and any structures in its path. The eruption also caused a vertical column of ash to shoot high into the atmosphere, reaching an altitude of over 15 miles, 24 kilometers. Winds carried the ash plume across the United States, causing widespread disruption to air travel and affecting communities hundreds of miles away. The immediate impact was significant, with 57 people losing their lives, including scientists, loggers, and residents in the vicinity of the volcano. Hundreds of homes were destroyed, and numerous bridges and roads were damaged or buried under ash. In addition to the human and structural impact, the eruption altered the landscape dramatically. The once conical-shaped mountain lost nearly 1,300 feet, 400 meters, in height, and a horseshoe-shaped crater replaced its summit. The devastated area around Mount St. Helens became a natural laboratory for the study of ecological recovery. The eruption of Mount St. Helens served as a wake-up call regarding the potential dangers of volcanic activity in the Cascade Range. It also led to advancements in monitoring and understanding volcanic behavior, contributing to improved preparedness for future volcanic events. 12. The Central China floods. The Central China floods of 1931 are considered one of the deadliest natural disasters in recorded history. Lasting from June to August 1931, the catastrophic flooding occurred along the Yangtze River and its tributaries, affecting vast regions of central China, including Hubei, Hunan, Jiangxi, and Anhui provinces. The primary cause of the floods was a combination of unusually heavy rainfall during the summer monsoon season and the overflowing of the Yangtze River and its tributaries. The torrential rains saturated the soil, leading to widespread riverbank breaches and inundation of low-lying areas. The devastation caused by the Central China floods was staggering. It's estimated that between 2 and 4 million people lost their lives, with millions more displaced or left homeless. The extensive destruction affected not only human settlements, but also agricultural lands, infrastructure, and transportation networks. The impact of the floods was exacerbated by the lack of effective flood control measures and outdated levee systems. The catastrophic failure of the dikes and dams intensified the scale of the disaster, submerging entire cities and towns. The economic repercussions were severe, with widespread crop failures, loss of livestock, and destruction of homes and infrastructure. The aftermath of the floods led to a humanitarian crisis, including famine and the spread of waterborne diseases. In response to this devastating event, efforts were made to improve flood control and management along the Yangtze River. The tragic lessons learned from the 1931 floods contributed to subsequent initiatives to construct better infrastructure and implement more effective flood prevention measures in China. 13. Hurricane Sandy, also known as Superstorm Sandy, was a powerful and destructive tropical cyclone that struck the east coast of the United States in late October 2012. It was the largest Atlantic hurricane on record in terms of diameter and caused widespread devastation across multiple states. Sandy originated in the Caribbean and eventually merged with a frontal system, creating a massive and complex storm. On October 29, 2012, it made landfall in southern New Jersey, near Atlantic City, with hurricane-force winds extending over 175 miles, 280 kilometers, from its center. The impact of Hurricane Sandy was felt from the mid-Atlantic to New England, affecting densely populated areas, including New York City. The storm brought unprecedented storm surges, leading to severe coastal flooding in New York and New Jersey. The surge coincided with a high tide, exacerbating the flooding and causing extensive damage to homes, infrastructure, and transportation systems. In New York City, the subway system experienced significant flooding, and power outages affected millions of residents. The iconic coastline of the Jersey Shore suffered extensive damage, and numerous homes were destroyed or severely damaged. Sandy's aftermath left over 230 people dead across 8 countries and caused tens of billions of dollars in damages. The storm underscored vulnerabilities in coastal communities and highlighted the potential impact of climate change on the frequency and intensity of extreme weather events. In the wake of Hurricane Sandy, there were increased efforts to enhance coastal resilience, improve evacuation procedures, and address climate change adaptation measures. The storm's legacy also prompted discussions about the importance of preparing for and mitigating the impact of future storms in vulnerable coastal regions. 14. The Yellow River floods of 1887 in China were a catastrophic natural disaster characterized by the breach of the Yellow River's dikes. occurring during a period of heavy rainfall. The dikes, designed to contain the river's waters, proved insufficient to withstand the increased volume. This failure led to an unprecedented flood that swept across the North China Plain, causing widespread devastation and tragic loss of life. The flooding extended over vast areas, submerging entire villages, towns, and farmlands. The sheer force and volume of the floodwaters reached up to 50 miles, 80 kilometers in certain regions, leaving destruction in its wake. The density of the population in the affected areas contributed to the exceptionally high death toll, estimated to be between 900,000 to 2 million individuals. Beyond the tragic loss of human life, the floodwaters carried with them enormous amounts of sediment, silt, and debris. Agricultural areas suffered extensively, as the deposits altered the landscape and rendered large swathes of farmland unusable. The impact on infrastructure was severe, with homes, bridges, and other structures destroyed. The aftermath of the Yellow River floods created a humanitarian crisis, as survivors faced shortages of essential resources such as food, clean water, and shelter. Epidemics and diseases added to the challenges for those struggling to cope with the immediate aftermath of the disaster. Criticism was directed at the Qing dynasty government for its response to the catastrophe. Relief efforts were hindered by logistical difficulties and limited resources, contributing to the overall difficulty in providing timely assistance to the affected population. In the long term, the Yellow River floods of 1887 left an enduring mark on China's history. Efforts were subsequently undertaken to improve flood control measures and manage the inherent risks associated with the Yellow River. This tragic event underscored the vulnerability of densely populated regions to the forces of nature and emphasized the importance of sustainable water management practices to mitigate such devastating disasters. 15. The Great Kanto earthquake of 1923, with a magnitude of 7.9, remains one of the most destructive earthquakes in Japanese history. Striking the Tokyo-Yokohama metropolitan area, it led to extensive destruction due to both the seismic activity and the subsequent fires that engulfed the region. The earthquake occurred at lunchtime on September 1, 1923, lasting for only a few minutes, but leaving lasting consequences. The tremors triggered numerous fires, exacerbated by strong winds and a lack of effective firefighting infrastructure. These fires raged uncontrollably, consuming large parts of Tokyo and Yokohama. The human toll was staggering, with over 140,000 lives lost and hundreds of thousands of people displaced. The destruction of infrastructure, homes, and businesses was widespread, and the aftermath brought about a humanitarian crisis. The response to the disaster highlighted challenges in coordinating rescue and relief efforts. In addition to the immediate impacts, the earthquake had profound societal implications. Anti-Korean sentiments rose as unfounded rumors blamed the Korean community for starting fires, leading to widespread discrimination and violence. The disaster prompted significant changes in urban planning and construction practices in Japan, with the implementation of stricter building codes and improved disaster response strategies. The Great Kanto earthquake of 1923 stands as a pivotal event in Japanese history, shaping both the physical landscape of the affected cities and the nation's approach to disaster preparedness and recovery. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to Televisit for more interesting and educational updates from around the world. Leave a comment, like, and share. See you in our next video.